Homo sapiens. Are these the end of days for Homo sapiens? Is the civilizations that were created by Homo sapiens, is this the end of everything that we have endeavored to accomplish in 10,000 years? Maybe it might be good if we kind of really discuss who we are, us sapiens. It's the name for us modern humans. Now, however you want to look at it, the evidence is there that sapiens are but of a long line of man. Now, this conflicts with some, and with others, it's knowledge. But if we can look and say, okay, now what happened to each one of these versions of man? Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, Neanderthalis. You can put in between Neanderthalis, you can put Cro-Magnon, you can put the hobbits, you could put the denizens. So there's a lot in between. Did they face their end of days? One has to ask. Are they gone, or are they us and we are them? Hard to sometimes figure this out. However, we do know this. We have changed as a species. There's good evidence to suggest our timeline has changed. We know our history is being changed, and by all evidence, our reality has changed. So what has happened? Well, this has actually happened before. Evidences on the earth itself through the cataclysmic changes of what the planet has gone through, which affects all life on the surface. So we know that the evidence would show in the rock that collapses have happened before. This timeline is accelerating. We all feel it. We all know it. Changes are reaching into our past history, and it's changing our reality. The very history that so many grew up with, thinking that that was in fact the way it is and should always be, is finding out that it's not the way it always was or the way it should always be. So these things we're seeing. Now they've put names to it, but nevertheless, it does seem our reality has changed. So what's the problem here? Well, if you look at how modern Homo sapiens have evolved, and it is evolving, is that change took time. Change very seldom happened rapidly. So we were able to adapt to the pace. I believe we've exceeded our ability to adapt to the rapid pace of knowledge. The change that we have brought upon ourselves in the, let's say, information age, the explosion of knowledge has now impacted us as a species. Our change to the environment, where we had this balance and time was very predictable, is no longer the case. what we live in today, knowledge is so rapidly increasing and making out of date that which was thought to be knowledge is having a profound effect upon all of us. This has happened before, and the effects were devastating on our ancestors. Now, that would imply that this is not the first time sapiens have found themselves here. It would mean and imply that technology at one time was equivalent, or if not greater, than that which we have today. It would imply that our ancestors of a distant past were as accomplished as we are. Now, that's controversial because it would seem, by what we have been able thus to, how shall we say, see, is that our progression for the last 6,000, 7,000 years was at a very predictable rate. Now, we know that there is evidences of either an advanced technological alien race or that man himself reached these heights before and it collapsed. Is it about to happen again? Without most even knowing or realizing it is happening again? Can we become aware of a collapse? Can we become cognitive of the fact that there is a collapse ongoing? The answer would appear to say no. Each time we have seemed to reach a pinnacle in technology, each time it has led to a species collapse. Our species, where we have no memory, no understanding, no recall, other than in the faintest corners of the recesses of our species consciousness. Otherwise, we live on myths, legends, stories that are taken to be fact that have no foundation. Is this part of the collapse? What we do know, everything resets, goes back to square one. And again, no memory, no knowledge, no understanding. Are these the end of days? Have sapiens experienced this before? Has the collapse begun? I have a question for you. You are a sapien. Is destruction inevitable? Is there nothing we can do? Are we merely playing out a role that no matter what we do individually has no impact upon us collectively? Are we witnessing and are we contributing to the destruction of our species? Are you contributing to the destruction of our species? Are you basically being programmed to do and play a role where your free will has no impact? And even if you say you have it, it seems to be leading to the destruction of our species? I ask you again, sapiens, is destruction inevitable?